1970s reggae didn't just make hits, it made near misses that tell the real story. Labels pushed the wrong singles. Great tunes were banned, mislabeled, or lost in distribution. Some experiments, disco reggae crossovers, pop covers, missed the charts, while stone-cold masterpieces slipped by with zero radio. That's what we're digging into tonight. 15 reggae misfires you forgot. Records that should have landed, didn't, and now sound sharper than ever. Across this countdown you'll hear a Marley one-off cut before the island era, Tosh aiming at the dance floor, Perry's heavy 12 built for sound systems not radio, a Congo's classic trapped by label drama, and UK roots anthems that owned the specialist shops but never cracked the pop lists. We'll break down why they missed back then, timing, politics, marketing, and why they matter now. The Riddims producers kept versioning, the singers who defined lovers and roots, and the tracks collectors still hunt. Quick question before we roll. Which reggae misfire do you think deserved a second shot, and why? Drop your pick in the comments, hit subscribe for more deep dives, and let's set the record straight. Let's start at 15. A prayer turned into a groove. Yim Mas Gan draws on Amharic language and Rastafari faith. Let him be praised. And you can hear that devotion in every line. The harmony is tight, the bass walks like a pilgrim, and the drums keep a steady, unhurried step. This is roots reggae at its most dignified. No rush, no gimmicks, just message and melody. So why a misfire? Because outside of specialist shops and sound systems, it didn't travel the way it should have. No big pop radio push, no flashy marketing, just a beautiful record that lived mainly with people who were already listening closely. Today, it feels like an anchor, a reminder that some of the strongest 1970s sides were built for conscience first and charts second. When you think of roots reggae, do you want the songs to preach softly like this? Or do you prefer the more militant, hard-hitting cuts?
All right, C-Trends fam, let's keep it real. We're pouring our hearts into bringing you the best celebrity news and music deep dives. What? Check it. A massive 98% of you aren't subscribed yet. Subscribing is how you can truly support us, helping us grow and create even better content. If you're vibing with what we do, take a sec to hit that subscribe button. It's free and makes a huge difference. Plus, ring that notification bell so you never miss out. Let's flip that 98% and build this C-Trends family together. Your support is everything.
A heart speaking straight to history. Junior Biles sings like someone writing a letter to his ancestors. Clear words, steady rhythm, and a melody you carry long after the needle lifts. The arrangement is spare enough to let the lyric breathe. A longing for home, dignity, and self-knowledge. Commercially, it never broke through the way lighter party tunes did. But listen close and you'll hear the future of roots. Gentle, thoughtful, unshakable.
I get a how did I stray?
In the 1970s, the singles that tested well on radio were often love songs or novelty cuts. A song this direct about identity and place asked for deeper listening than the market rewarded at the time.
Time shall come for you and I. She bowed her head and cried.
That's what makes it a misfire. Not because it failed artistically, but because the world didn't stop to hear it. If you were building a message reggae starter pack for a friend, does this make the first 5? And what would you put beside it? The title says it all. The Maytones' harmonies slide over a patient groove, while the bass keeps repeating the same hard truth. Bills don't sleep. It's humble, human, and built for everyday people. In dance halls, this kind of tune lands. Everybody knows the feeling. On mainstream charts, though, it rarely did. It wasn't glossy enough for pop playlists. And it didn't have a novelty hook. What it had, and still has, is honesty. A working-class anthem dressed in clean guitar chops and a comforting melody. As a misfire, it shows how the market can miss the point. Real life doesn't always test well, but it lasts. What other reggae songs about real-life struggle hit you hardest, and why? The Black Ark sound as a living organism. Prince Jazzbo toasts with a grin, stepping between jokes, jabs, and rhythmic callouts while the rhythm lopes forward under that unmistakable studio haze. You can almost see Lee, Scratch, Perry turning knobs, making the drums breathe and the echoes wink. It's playful, but it's also a lesson in space. The band leaves room for the DJ's voice to dance. Why didn't it fly higher? Because this was sound system science more than radio candy. It thrived in yards and at late-night sessions, not on daytime playlists. A misfire, only if you measure success by chart paper. By culture, it's a keeper. When you reach for 1970s DJ cuts, are you Team Jazzbo, or do you go straight to Big Youth, I Roy or You Roy first?
But now is the time for Jah to reign. Yeah.
A steady step toward reverence. The in crowd, known for easy rolling grooves, lean into a roots message here. Tight rhythm guitar, warm organ, and a vocal that lifts like morning light. It's not flashy, it's faithful. In record shop terms, that meant loyal buyers, but limited crossover.
The time for Jah to reign. Yeah.
No scandal, no gimmick, just a strong band delivering a spiritual tune in a crowded market. As a misfire, it's the quiet kind. The single that should have stuck around longer but slipped between louder trends. Listen now and the balance feels perfect. Songcraft up front, rhythm section unbothered, conviction calmly shining through. If you were programming a late-night root set, would you put this before or after a heavyweight like Burning Spear? What's the right mood flow?
And if we're getting anywhere, we have to move.
A singer with a warm baritone steps into a storm. The groove is mid-tempo and steady. Guitar chanks tucked under a quietly insistent bass line, but the lyric aims higher than party talk. It weighs leaders, power, against the people's everyday dignity, glory, at a time when Jamaica was tense and tired of violence.
To know a possibility.
You can hear the courage in Ernie's delivery. Not angry, not pleading, just firm. As a record, it had everything you'd want for longevity. Melody you can hum, rhythm that rolls, and a message that still scans.
Violence and crime is commonplace in these.
As a misfire, it ran into politics, nervous programmers, and the simple truth that heavy songs don't always get light rotation. Today it sounds like a postcard from the heart of the decade. Beautiful, brave, and bigger than the charts that ignored it.
Violence and crime is commonplace in.
If you were producing this in 1976, would you soften the message to get radio play, or keep it exactly as is and risk the cold shoulder? A testimony set to a stepper's pulse. The drum pattern marches forward, the bass locks tight, and Alimentado rides the rhythm like a man with a mission. The voice is grainy and direct. The chorus is a creed. This is Roots Reggae, a survival manual, turning pain into purpose and purpose into rhythm. Why a misfire? Because it was built for sound systems and believers, not for daytime playlists. It spread hand to hand, selector to selector, then crossed the ocean as a cult favorite rather than a chart single. But listen with fresh ears and you'll hear what DJs heard then. Clarity, uplift, and a groove that never lets the feet forget the message. When a tune carries hard truth, do you prefer the mix raw and street level like this, or polished for wider ears? And bold idea, recast a soul landmark as reggae. The Cimarrons keep the original's sense of weight. Long lines, air between the phrases, while giving it a rolling, tide-like skank. The drums are dry, the guitars are clipped, and the harmonies float with almost choral poise. As art, it's fascinating. A dialogue between Kingston rhythm language and Philly soul storytelling. As commerce, it confused some listeners, too reverent to be novelty, too somber to be pop. It never took off beyond specialist circles, yet the cut shows how serious the UK reggae bands were about songcraft, not just rhythm. You can hear future lovers' rock textures, future dub restraint, and the confidence to tackle big American repertoire without parody. Do you think reggae covers should reinvent the whole feel, or keep the original's mood and just change the heartbeat? This video is sponsored by the Lore Store on Amazon, your one-stop shop for music lovers across reggae, rock, pop, and hip-hop. We built it for real listeners who don't want to dig through 1,000 listings to find the right gear. Inside the Lore Store, you'll find 5 aisles. VIP, top, battle-tested essentials. Headphones, turntables, speakers, gig-safe earplugs, smart speakers. Reggae vibe, roots and lovers. Rock made easy, automatic decks, warm bookshelf speakers, vinyl care. Rock lore, classic rock must-haves, open back cans, simple amps, living room concert vibes. Pop lore, feel-good everyday setups, clean, clear speakers, easy streaming, nostalgia-friendly picks. Hip-hop must-haves, punchy bass without the muddle, closed-back headphones and living room systems that handle low-end, plus a rotating crate of old album vinyl if you're rebuilding a 60s-90s collection. Every product page tells you who it's for, 3 pros, 1 con, and why we picked it. So you can choose with confidence. Flying soon? Check. VIP for noise canceling that tames plane roar. Mostly listening at home? Try open-back headphones that let live albums breathe. Want instant gratification vinyl? Our fully automatic turntable is 1 button from silence to music, and the record cleaning kit knocks down crackle so the bass tightens up. Headed to shows? Grab high-fidelity earplugs. Hands-free at home? Our smart speaker picks let you say, play 70s reggae or classic pop, and you're there. Deal alert! If you use the link in the description, you'll land on our curated picks with current best available Amazon pricing and active discounts where applicable. Prices change, so buy now to lock in today's deal. Tap the link in the description, pick your aisle, grab a favorite, and tell me which category you want me to build next. The Lore Store. Listen better, with gear that gets out of the way and lets the music live.
Baby, after tonight. Baby, after tonight.
London studio finesse meets roots heartbeat. Dennis Bovell's fingerprints are everywhere. Bass deep but controlled, guitars clean and close, percussion like soft rain. The vocal is intimate, half confessional, half promise, and the band plays with the patience of craftsmen who trust the song.
Won't you swim to me?
It seemed poised for a crossover. It had warmth, romance, and radio-friendly structure. Why didn't it rise? Timing and lanes. UK radio still treated reggae as occasional seasoning, and more flamboyant singles hogged attention. After Tonight is The Quiet Keeper, the record you put on at 2 a.m. and realize it's been perfect for the last 3 minutes. A misfire on paper, a small classic in practice.
Baby, after tonight.
If you were sequencing a late night set, would you slide this before or after a lover's rock staple like Silly Games? And why? A curious crossroads, a veteran J.A. trio tackling an Elton John tune. The track leans into bounce, snappy drums, bright keys, a playful vocal that winks at the lyrics' island postcard. It's fun and well cut, and you can hear why a label might bet on it. Famous writer, catchy chorus, familiar word Jamaica, right in the title.
Jamaica, got plenty for you and me.
But novelty is a thin bridge. Reggae heads found it cute, pop radio filed it under oddity, and the single slipped through the cracks. As a misfire, it's instructive. Even seasoned harmony groups can get lost when the marketing hook outweighs the musical center.
Got plenty for you and me.
Still, it's a time capsule of the Trojan UK era, trying anything to connect, and sometimes missing by inches. Be honest, do reggae pop covers help open doors for the culture, or do they distract from stronger originals?
She bum, she not up on the sky. She bum, she not up on the sky.
A sound system storm that was never meant for polite radio. Cut at the Black Ark. Disco Devil is Perry, taking the Chase the Devil rhythm into deep space. Tape echo cycling like sirens. Drum and bass glued together with studio haze. Voices drifting in and out like ghosts.
She bum, she not up on the sky. She bum, she not up.
It's a 12-inch ritual, not a pop single, long, hypnotic, and built for selectors who want to hold a crowd in the pocket. That's why it misfired in the 70s charts. Too heavy, too strange, too long. But listen now, and you hear the future. Dub as architecture, not just an effect. This is where producers learn to treat the studio like a fourth band member. If you DJ, do you drop the long mix to lock the room, or a shorter version to keep casual listeners on board? The sea as scripture. Fisherman opens Heart of the Congos with Cedric Myton's falsetto floating over hand drums, bass like a tide, and Lee Perry's studio sorcery, bells, water sounds, and harmonies stacked like church windows. Spiritually, it's a pillar of roots reggae. Commercially, it got stuck in the 1977 fog. Small runs, label politics, and little radio support outside heads. A misfire, only because the world didn't hear it in time. The song's pull is patient and deep. A working man's prayer, a chant for persistence, a chorus you can hum without words. Put it on today and it feels bigger than any chart number, like a hymn you somehow always knew. When this drops, do you lead with headphones in the dark, or loudspeakers so the room can breathe with it? Ladbroke Grove meets Kingston Conscience. Early Aswad play with marching drums, stern horns, and a bass line that keeps its chin up. The lyric isn't a slogan, it's a study in identity, memory, longing, and direction. UK reggae fans embraced it, but mainstream radio shrugged in 1976. Britain wasn't ready to let a heavy roots single sit beside pop. That's the misfire, not the craft, but the climate. What you hear is a band already precise and proud, carrying community news into the studio. Years later, Aswad would score pop hits. This track is the reason those later songs had weight. If you had 5 minutes to explain UK roots to a newcomer, would you start with this, or with Steel Pulse, Matumbi, or Misty in Roots? A gleeful provocation with a big studio sheen. Released on Rolling Stones records, the single leans into a disco reggae bounce, 4-on-the-floor kick, bright guitars, and Tosh delivering herb politics with a wink and a dare. The title pun, aimed squarely at Britain's most famous address, made it memorable, but not necessarily programmable. Some stations hesitated, and the record never became the crossover the label imagined. Still, the cut shows Tosh's range, militant when he wants, mischievous when it serves, always committed to pushing reggae into new rooms. The misfire here is a lesson in marketing versus message. How far can a protest laugh travel on pop radio? If you were producing the single for radio in '79, would you double down on the disco pulse or strip it back to a raw roots mix?
All right, C-Trends fam, let's keep it real. We're pouring our hearts into bringing you the best celebrity news and music deep dives. What? Check it. A massive 98% of you aren't subscribed yet. Subscribing is how you can truly support us, helping us grow and create even better content. If you're vibing with what we do, take a sec to hit that subscribe button. It's free and makes a huge difference. Plus, ring that notification bell so you never miss out. Let's flip that 98% and build this C Trends family together. Your support is everything.
A bridge between two eras that didn't carry enough traffic then. Recorded in London and issued as a CBS single in 1972, Reggae on Broadway finds Marley testing a soul rock crossover before the Island Records breakthrough. You can hear the intention: a cleaner drum sound, a bigger chorus, harmonies built for daytime playlists. It didn't climb the charts, but the experiment mattered. It showed Marley already thinking globally, how to keep the skank, but speak to bigger rooms, bigger stages, bigger ears. Call it a misfire, but also call it a clue. Without this try, the leap from Trenchtown to world stage might have taken longer. Do you hear this as a lost one-off, or the first draft of the stadium-size vision Marley would perfect a year later? If you enjoyed this episode, then go watch this video.